I recognized right away that there was a really unique opportunity for us to step in and start backfilling some of these producers who do not have access to the proper amount of products. So what we've done with Boundary Bay is we have started procuring and kind of building a war chest of a few strains that we know that a few anonymous licensed producers need to backfill their existing product SKUs. So we're not forward facing, we're not going out to the market right now to sell, but what that's allowed me to do is really be strategic about our revenue stream where I can secure these long-term offtake agreements, very low risk, and I'm doing it at top dollar. We just were able to achieve $2.50 a gram.
Welcome back. My next guest is Elise Coppens, CEO of Agra Ventures Ltd, trading on the CSE under the symbol AGRA and in the United States under the symbol AGFAF. Elise, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. Elise, I've got to start off with what is, without question, what is on everybody's mind is there's a lawsuit pending in the news, and is it possible that you have any comment on that for the purposes of this interview?
It's an exciting time for AGRA, and it's a new company and it's under new leadership. These historical matters, I'm taking them very seriously and have established a special committee. But right now, these matters are in court, and until that work is done, myself and the company, unfortunately, we just have no comment.
Okay.
But I've done what I can, and we'll just leave it up. What will be, will be. Let
the chips fall where they may. I got it. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about the positives on Agra. What is the most powerful revenue driver in the company?
We just had some exciting news. We released that we've secured a 6-month offtake agreement out of our Boundary Bay facility. It's located in Delta, BC. Originally, I was really pushing hard when I took over. I had to come in and just rearrange everything. And I was really, really hoping that I would be able to report revenue by the end of the summer. But I recognize that as this market has evolved, it's really evolved. And right now, what we're seeing is licensed producers are experiencing this massive shortage of product across the board. And the provinces are really hindering them, where they're only allowing a certain amount of SKUs in each province. And then they've taken that one step further and opposed these barriers, saying, okay, well, now your product has to have a COA that's valid within 6 months. We're only going to do procurement quarterly. So I recognized right away that there was a really unique opportunity for us to step in and start backfilling some of these producers who do not have access to the proper amount of product. So back when legalization first happened, it was like a parkade, and they were opening it up to numerous LPs saying, whatever products you have, we'll take. We need to get this out there. We need to put it on the shelves. But then there was a massive shortage. And what we've seen is, this parkade has kind of evolved now into more of like a New York parkade, where there's very limited space for SKUs, and they only want the newest and the best. So what we've done with Boundary Bay is we have started procuring and kind of building a war chest of a few strains that we know that a few anonymous licensed producers need to backfill their existing product SKUs. So we're not forward facing, we're not going out to the market right now to sell, but what that's allowed me to do is really be strategic about our revenue stream where I can secure these long-term offtake agreements, very low risk, and I'm doing it at top dollar. We just were able to achieve $2.50 a gram, which is very respectable and almost unheard of.
Sure.
In today's market. The crop that we were able to move at that price came in at 23.07% THC. So my team is doing a fantastic job. Their background, again, is horticulture. So they're just treating this like a crop and a commodity, and they're just doing a really fantastic job, but they're very capable at standardizing their approach. And so that's where we're really going to be a threat to this industry. It is a new direction. It's not forward facing. It's not, getting out there on the shelves. but there's a massive need for this right now.
Huh. Yeah, I've heard that, and I've seen evidence that suppliers are unable to keep their top brands on the shelf because they've got a limited capacity, and it's not something you can turn on at the drop of a hat. So, interesting business model, and I'll be really interested to see how it plays out. So then, is the wholesale supplier on the back end model where you're going to focus in the future, or do you envision participating in the consumer brand side at some point?
I'm always a step ahead. Already working towards sales license. So, if we need it, it'll be a light switch I can flick on, as well as potential manufacturing of products. Some of these partners that we're aligning with for these offtake agreements need the licensed square footage, which I have. I'm sitting on 2.2 million square feet. I obviously don't have that all operational, but being strategic with how we position ourselves to provide to these producers, absolutely, yeah. I mean, we're going to be ready for anything.
Sure. Okay. And then do you have any ambition or footprint in the United States?
Not yet, but working on several opportunities right now. There's one in particular that we have a few, we're in deep discussion with. And so hopefully here in the next month or two, we'll be able to bring some more exciting news. But for me, that is the next move for us. That makes the most sense. We want to position ourselves to be a global player. And I think the momentum that the US is getting, it's just such a bigger market, and I want a piece of that.
Sure, absolutely. Do you think that the Canadian market is a little bit saturated with retail suppliers at this point? Because, I mean, let's face it, nobody's really making money on the retail side.
Absolutely. And it's very expensive. I mean, to come in this late in the game and try and establish ourselves and bring a brand, not only is that very expensive, but I've taken it one step further. I mean, I run a really lean operation. And so I've even outsourced my sales. I'm using a brokerage firm to help me connect with these other LPs, and they're kind of the conduit that puts all of these offtake agreements together. It's brilliant. They're agnostic. They have exposure to the entire market. I mean, producers don't want to come and, open up their doors to another competitor and say, this is where we're short, here's where we're struggling. But the ability to work with a broker has really just enabled me to become educated. And, the other threat when you deal directly with an LP is right away they're assuming that you're retaining your really good product for yourself. Our model is simple. We just are going to backfill the existing suppliers. So,
very cool. Very cool. Okay, so then do you have any other production facilities in Canada?
Not at this point. So we've outsourced. We had one asset that we've outsourced. Sana, it's here in Ontario. But basically, Pharmaco in Germany is my other kind of flagship. And they've been doing tremendous. I mean, especially with the upcoming news of legalization. Hopefully, I think we're going to be receiving more information on that this week. And, we're already positioned in Germany to really take advantage of that. With the legalization, they've mentioned that it will be a controlled substance. So they're going to go the GMP route. And we already have the longstanding relationships with the pharmacies and the distribution. So Pharmaco's been doing incredible. We have these test kits I'm not sure that you've seen. And we have a patent on them. So we actually are the only company that will be allowed in Germany to distribute these THC and CBD test kits that are used by the pharmacies.
Right. And what about extracts? Do you also have a revenue stream at all in extracted products?
So in Germany, it is all extracted.
Oh.
We do a balance of extracted and dried flower. But right now in Canada, no.
Sure. Do you think that the regulation of cannabis in Canada is an impediment to making money in the cannabis industry at this point, or do you think that it's more or less evolving as well as can be expected?
There's a lot of room to grow and a lot of areas that need improvement. I've been weathering this industry for so long now, and it's always 2 steps forward, sometimes 1, 2, 3 steps back. And right now, we're really figuring it out. I think each province is its own worst enemy, and it's really difficult to navigate on a national scale. which is really confusing to consumers. So I think that there's a lot of room to grow. Standardization is going to be key. And so, I think that there's a lot of room to grow. It's very frustrating. I mean, even for myself, if I go into the store and I purchase something and I enjoy it, I expect that I can go back a week later, purchase the same product and have the same effect. But the product's gone off the shelf and you can't find it.
Right.
And then, so we need to do a better job of standardization and treat this more like a commodity from a national scale. So that's coming, I hope.
Great. Elise, we're going to leave it there for now. That's a great introduction. We'll come back to you in due course and have another conversation. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much, James.